you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. When your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
But we know he did.
Yeah, he admitted he did.
Eventually.
And then his wife went out and destroyed all of their lives. All
Right.
of the women.
All the women's, yeah. Actually, yeah, there's actually.
Yeah, I mean, she's an enabler, right? She enabled the behavior by not standing up against it. She supported her husband, who was not a very good husband, apparently. If, you think that, I don't know, having sex with other women while you're married is the sign of not being a good husband, but
Or at least not getting caught.
But then when Donald Trump says she enabled it, he catches all sorts of flack. But here we are.
He also has, been accused of rape and sexual harassment and improper sexual touching and all kinds of stuff.
Donald Trump?
No,
Oh.
well, no, I don't know about him. You don't hear stuff about him.
You don't, do you?
I think he pays him off.
He's got more money than
Yeah.
the Clintons.
Yeah.
Remember, the Clintons were very poor when they left the White House.
They were broke.
Very, very poor.
Yep. And Hillary was shot at in Bosnia, and her
yeah,
daughter was
sniper fire,
jogging around the World Trade Center when it went down.
Yes, so that was very dangerous.
She'd never heard of Benghazi. And what emails?
What you mean, like wipe it with a cloth? What do you mean wipe
Wipe it
my
clean.
server? What do
How
you
do you-
mean wipe it clean? Like
Wipe it-
with a cloth?
With a wet nap. I love wet naps. They are so handy.
They really are. They are, especially
If
when
you
you're
don't have
eating
a
fried chicken.
packet of wet naps in your house somewhere, then you're really missing out on one of life's great joys.
Yeah, we don't. I don't know if we have a packet of wet naps or not, but what we do have everywhere is baby wipes.
Well, that's what I'm.
It's the same thing.
That's what I
right?
meant. Yeah.
Well, I guess Wet Naps is a brand
yeah, like Kleenex.
or whatever. I mean, it's a product
Like
of
Kleenex.
some sort. Yeah, it's.
No, we have
similar
the
to
baby
Kleenex.
wipes everywhere. Just
Yeah.
they're handy.
Yeah, well, that's good with all the babies you have crawling around.
I don't-
None of them
I-
yours.
I
I
don't
don't know
have-
why they're
yeah.
there. It's always weird. But
The state pays very well per
Yeah.
baby. Please, sir, I have some more. Shut up, you little. No, that's from Oliver. He's in an orphanage.
yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, good. Because I know you're not very well read and very literate.
I
and
am very
smart.
well read.
Yeah, in
nonfiction.
certain circles.
Yeah, the ones that matter, reality, and
Right.
living.
Well, I just want to say we've been gone for a couple of weeks. We've had a great holiday. We hope all of you out there
Yeah.
have had a good time. I had fun, It survived. Nobody was knifed this year, which was good.
You mean at your family?
At my family,
your family holiday
right,
party?
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody was knifed
Yeah,
somewhere, but I
probably.
meant actually in our house.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, that is
Not
good.
like last year. And so, we didn't have to hire the special cleaners to get the blood stains.
Yeah,
out and
that's
all that
good.
stuff. So we'll just say it's Thursday. It's January 7th. It's 2016, baby. We're in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Where at, Nathan?
Austria.
Austria. You know who's from Austria?
Yeah, William.
The Austrian
You
oak.
You remember William?
No,
He stands on the corner with the sign.
Is that what he says? I don't get it.
You don't remember William? Wow.
With the
All
golden
right,
voice?
Never mind. No, not with the golden voice. You know who is from Austria, though?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He is from Austria, which
The
is unfortunate
Austrian
because
oak.
he would have made a good president.
So who's Wilhelm?
I don't know. I was making it up.
I know Steve's here. He's in the engineering room.
Yeah.
We don't let him talk.
His name might as well be William.
We call him whatever we want. Hey, boy, come here. He doesn't like that. It puts the lotion on its skin. All right, so I want to start out talking about rights. We like to talk about rights.
That's a common theme.
And today there was a ruling on a lawsuit, and I don't know if you remember, but it was a few years ago. It went viral. There was an image of a monkey selfie, and it was this cute close-up picture of this monkey looking into the camera.
Was it really a selfie? Or
Yeah,
did somebody else take the picture?
No, the monkey actually took the picture. And the
on purpose?
Who knows what goes through a monkey's mind? I don't know. He was drunk. I know that. He just come out of the bar.
Okay, that's good.
And the photographer was there taking pictures of monkeys and stuff. And he had set up his tripod, and the monkey went in and looked there and pushed the button. Probably saw him doing a monkey see, monkey do. And had this great image. Well, it went all over, and people wanted to buy it, and he was selling it. Well,
The monkey was.
not the monkey, the photographer, the human.
And the monkey
The
lawyered
human
up.
for- And no, well, yeah, the monkey sort of, unbeknownst to him, lawyered up. It was PETA
Yeah.
that sued.
I hate PETA so
I do
much.
too. Sued and said that, no, listen, the monkey took the picture. The monkey owns that picture. It's the copyright of the monkey. And
Right.
today the judge said, I rule in favor of the defendant.
The non-monkey. Well, the other monkey.
He
camera
says,
monkey.
and the reason is, well, it's a monkey. And the attorney for the defense said, listen, my cats could have won this case.
Yeah.
He literally said that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're here, but PETA said that, they're going to fight for animal rights.
But okay. So a judge finds, yes, there were damages, right?
Found
of
that it
whatever.
wasn't.
But I'm saying,
Oh.
if the judge, ruled differently and said there were damages, who gets compensated for the damages?
The monkey,
How?
it would have a trust fund
You give him...
overseen by PETA.
Yeah, right.
So that got me thinking, do animals have rights? And it makes you think, well,
sure.
listen, what about the cat or dog that inherits grandma's fortune?
Yeah, and what happens to it?
And what happens to it? And there's a trust, and there's executors and all that. But does that animal own those assets
Right, no.
by law?
Legally, no.
I don't know.
No.
Well, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, you might not know. I know.
Can that dog or cat exercise political free speech by donating to political campaigns?
Look, if a corporation is a person, a dog is a person.
Well, you could make that argument.
You could, but that would be stupid because dogs are not made up of people like a corporation.
Well, is a corporation a person?
No.
That's what they ruled.
Nah, they didn't actually rule that it's a
Listen,
person.
they said that. They said,
No, they
Yeah.
didn't. They did not
Listen,
say corporation equals person.
it says,
That's a corporation's heartbeat. A little faster today with the Dow, right? With the stock market.
right, it
not
goes
doing
up
too
and
well
down
yet.
just like your heartbeat does. So does a monkey have rights? This judge didn't think
no,
so.
at least not copyright.
Yeah.
Right.
So what
So it
rights
may-
would they have?
The right to bear arms.
Maybe.
I think we should give
Maybe.
monkeys guns.
Well,
I read
an article.
The feds have guns.
I read
It's
listen.
the same,
they
right?
already do because I read an article that there were armed gorillas in Africa.
Really
Yeah,
having guerrilla warfare.
they were having guerrilla warfare.
That's good.
That was
No,
funny.
it's good. It's
That was
good.
funny.
All right.
Alrighty. Let's get into more serious things, although that is kind of a serious topic. I mean,
Speaking of-
at some point, as we learn more and more about animals being more sentient and aware and all that stuff, that at some point, certainly up
Well, dolphins, I
Great-
think, definitely have rights.
great apes.
You can't have them in a tuna can, right?
I've known chimps smarter than people, so who knows.
Yeah. Speaking of,
What about this? What about artificial
all
intelligence?
what about it?
Are they a person? I mean, one day, what happens?
No, they're
if
not a person.
Artificial intelligence becomes sentient and has
Look,
like a mind. In essence, it works exactly like a human mind. Then is a computer? Then is that a human being?
yeah,
I don't know. Not a human being.
like a human mind is not a human mind.
Well, for all intents and purposes, if one could not tell the difference between one or the other,
Then it doesn't matter, does
What-
it?
I'm asking.
How would you
didn't know.
tell the difference if you can't tell the difference?
I know, but then what makes us human? What makes us a person? It's our mind, right?
Is it?
Well, certainly.
I don't know.
I think that separates us from all other animals.
Well, you think. You don't know.
I
You don't know
I
what goes
don't
on in
know.
a monkey's mind.
I do not, other than they like to take pictures of
Yeah,
themselves.
apparently. And drink.
And drink.
And smoke. A lot of them are smoking.
Yeah. You take a cigarette away from a monkey, and they get really mad. Next thing you know, you're in for rabies shots. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
so we go on.
All right. Speaking of monkeys.
We're going to go right into the Obama soundbite with that?
No. What?
I went there.
No. He is one of those people that is not as smart as a chimpanzee, like you said, though, right?
Okay, so that wasn't racist.
Is that where you
or
want to go?
anything. No.
That-
Well,
not
I
at all
was.
what I was saying, but okay.
I was kind of going to go there. I was going to talk about the
All right, fine.
executive orders
Fine. Let's
and
go.
and talk about what was proposed and some of the lies that he told.
I mean, is that really the story? Or
Whether-
is the story that the teenage girl stood up there and cried?
you
'Cause
take that
what,
away.
That's what really, really makes it right. Is that he cried, and so since he cried, and they were real tears or something liquid. The
Are you
Constitution
accusing?
doesn't
Are
matter.
you accusing the president
No.
of the United States to produce false tears?
I don't know what false tears means. I think they were probably real tears, but I don't think he was really crying about the issue that he was.
I think what he was realizing, I only have a year left.
Yeah. I don't think that's what he was realizing.
How many Hawaiian vacations am I going to have left?
I think
about
he's
7.
I think he's a pretty good actor, right?
Well, I don't think he is.
He's really
No, because
really
I think
good.
I think no. I
No,
think
come
people
on,
can
of
see
course
that-
he is.
No, he's not.
You don't think
No,
so?
he's got the composure
Why
of a
does so
typical
many
psychopath.
Why do so many people?
I don't know why,
do
psychopath.
so many people believe that he loves this country?
Why?
If he's not a good actor,
He's not,
why do so many people believe him when he says things?
because the majority of people are idiots.
And those people think acting is real.
Well, some do,
Okay,
especially my
he's
programs.
He's a good enough actor to get elected twice.
Well, I don't know about that.
Apparently,
No.
it
Because
happened.
listen, you don't think there was any ballot box stuffing and illegality? What? Hanky panky going on?
I don't think he would do anything illegal.
Not him.
or any Democrat would do anything
I've
illegal.
got people for that.
They drive Priuses. You know they're good, upstanding citizens.
So I don't think he's a good actor.
Come on.
I think he's terrible.
Come on. I saw the tears. They were good. And he wiped.
Ronald Reagan was a good actor.
He did. Did he ever cry on there?
I don't.
Like, did he get up there and be
No,
like,
he has
I'm really
testicles.
passionate about this? Right. Come on. I mean, it's reinforcing what everybody's been saying about this girl since he became president, right?
Do not question how somebody experiences grief and when they experience that grief
I'm not questioning
and
that.
whether it's real or not.
Oh,
That's terrible.
I'm absolutely questioning that, and it's not terrible.
and that's
Come on.
I think that's fair game
What's fair game?
to question whether that was sincere or not.
Absolutely. There's been so many more horrible things that have happened during his presidency. Not once did he show any emotion. The only issue that he ever shows emotion about is gun control. That is the only issue that he shows any emotion about.
He hasn't cried over the troops that I know of being killed and
Absolutely
various
not.
things.
He didn't cry about Benghazi.
Right.
He doesn't cry about the children that he drones.
That we know of. I mean, he could cry himself to sleep every night in the privacy
Yeah, I bet he does.
of the Oval Office.
Do you
or
think
his
he
bedroom.
cries on the golf course? Because that's actually
Well,
what he's done after every other significant event during his presidency.
If his short game is like mine, he cries on the golf.
I cry on the golf course, but that's acceptable.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's manly.
But when you're the president of the United States, you don't get up there, right, on television and cry about something so ridiculous. Because what he's doing is he's crying. He is so passionate that we need to take guns away from people. Although we can talk about his executive orders and what it didn't
let's
do.
move into that. Yeah. But
What?
You said he could cry about that or not.
Yeah.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Move on.
Well,
I'm done.
let's talk about some of the things where he wants more gun sellers to be licensed, but he doesn't say what defines a gun seller. I will tell you.
Well, you know it when you see it. It's like pornography.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
You know it when you see it.
I'm going to say what the law says right now, or at least the regulation, which isn't really a law. So it says a regulation, not a statute, which can be changed by administrative procedure without Congress, and that says that the
Meaning
definition...
executive order. Or a change in the department, but Obama could write an executive order to change that.
Yeah. Which it's... I thought I had it, but I must have lost it.
What?
I thought I had what the definition was, but it's not. The thing that's going around is if you sell more than 25 in a year. And now I think with the definition said, if it's a substantial, portion of your living and blah, 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 and you have so much inventory and all that.
Yeah.
He wants to change that. So are you and I going to be able to sell our guns to, your cousin Bill or to your next door neighbor without a background check?
Look, that's what licensing is for, right?
Yeah, and it's not a background check. You'd have to register all guns to do that. That's why it's unenforceable.
What?
How are they going to know whether a background check has been done or not?
Okay, yeah, but you said it's not a background check. You have to register all guns.
No, well, you said licensing, and I said, you'd have to have registration in order to do background checks.
To enforce
it.
That, you would have to, and you would have to do something with people that don't comply and don't register their guns. Somehow you'd have to find that out.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And even if I suspect, they said, you sold a gun to Nate. And I say, no, I didn't. And they say, yeah, you did. And I say, prove it. And they'd go to your place and they'd say, well, here's a gun. And I'll say, yeah. How do you know I sold it to them?
Right.
They don't. Because we don't register our guns.
Right.
We're not supposed to, except for handguns. In
Michigan, yeah.
There's a few other states, but generally most states don't have any gun registration.
Right.
And the federal government is not supposed to, by law, keep records of gun purchases.
Right. And so
it's unenforceable. It's a stupid thing. And what the NRA says is, listen, there's 80,000 people a year that are trying to buy guns that have been turned down because they've come up as a felon. And how many have been prosecuted? 44.
Right.
So if they really want to crack down on this, use the law that's already in place.
Look at the trend in that in recent years while Obama's been president, and the number of prosecutions for those types of crimes have gone down.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's decreased under him.
Right.
What he's saying he wants to do, which by the
he's
law,
not doing now.
By the way, has been the law since he's been president. He could have been enforcing this the entire time.
And this internet loophole type of thing, that's crap
garbage,
too.
Absolute garbage.
Now, if you and I communicate on the internet, and I say, hey, Nate, I got a gun for sale. Do you want it? And you come over to my house, and we're within our own state, and we follow all the federal laws. Is that an internet sale because we've communicated?
It doesn't matter, but we're not dealers.
But if I want to buy a gun from a dealer in California, we've got to go through several.
Or from anybody in California.
Right.
Even a private sale, if they're going to ship it to you, it has to go through a license holder.
So, well, that's like that sound bit we played before the holiday break, where we had the director of the damn FBI was asked, how do I get the gun I order online? And he said, well, I assume they ship it to your house.
Yeah.
He had no idea. And this is a guy that was consulted by Obama last week. So he wouldn't look like an idiot when he did his little talk, which he still looked like an idiot. When the FBI director doesn't know the law, how can you go to him and get consulted by him and have anything worthwhile? So that was completely wrong. He either doesn't know or he's lying.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things was he wants to license people so they do background checks. Another thing, I saw Alan Corwin, who writes a lot of gun books and stuff, and he's got a website. Yep. He says he also wants to crack down on trusts because you can get firearm trusts for to keep your firearms, in a trust name. A lot of people do that when they want to buy, if they have to get a license for a suppressor or if they're getting an automatic weapon. And so He says he wants to crack down on criminals who use trusts. Does that mean everybody's a criminal that has a trust?
Yeah, right.
How many criminals hire a lawyer to set up a trust?
And it turns out if you're a criminal
And then how would the
and you're
state-
doing it,
how
it's
would the-
illegal anyway.
How would the feds know that? All right, so that's crap. It's illegal to even try it. Oh, let's see. He talked about the internet sales, which is ridiculous. He wants to give $50 million or so to treat mental illness, but that's got to be approved by Congress. It's already failed several times.
And Obamacare, right?
Require firearms that are lost in
oh.
transit? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought that was already a requirement, and wouldn't
What?
require that firearms that are lost in transit between a manufacturer and a seller are reported. I don't know how you would enforce that. How would they know?
Well, it's required, Brian.
I don't know what, on the manufacturing end, I don't know if they let the feds know and say, hey, I'm sending 15 handguns to Joe Blow
And
gun
here
store.
are the serial numbers?
And-
I mean, what?
And then, they check out Joe Blow's gun store and they never got those guns. I don't know how that can be enforced.
Yeah.
Hire a task force to keep track of illegal gun trafficking. Again, how do you do that? $4 million for additional personnel. Whew. 200 more ATF agents. We're trying to
that'll be good.
eliminate the ATF. Now he's hiring more people.
Yeah, of course. He's not trying to eliminate the ATF.
Oh, boy. No, I mean, we would like to do that.
Yes, we would.
So anyways, let's see. Smart guns. Oh, Lord. Who wants a smart gun?
Look,
You certainly, and one of the things they say, just real quick, one of the things they say is, we want to do that. We want to arm all of the police officers with smart guns so that if a gun is wrestled away, which happens less and less than it has,
Right.
because we have retention holsters now.
Yep.
Or they do. If they wrestle away the gun, they can't use it against the officer.
right.
So how many police officers can go, I can't even keep my cell phone working with a battery.
Yeah. Look,
How am I going to keep my firearm? And am I going to count on that firearm when I need it that it's going to work?
if we can lock our cell phones and not let children get into them, and if children can't open a pill bottle, surely we can do something better with firearms.
Yeah.
That was part of his speech. That's what he said.
Right.
Before he cried those tears and then wiped them.
And unfortunately,
So I'm like,
you usually have to ask your kids to help you open up those damn pill bottles because you
Well,
can't
you
get into
do.
them. I do. And how do you work your phone? The point is, smart gun technology, not only is it expensive, but nobody wants it.
Yeah,
Law enforcement doesn't want it.
if-
Industry doesn't want
here's
it.
the deal. I think it's
Gun owners don't want it.
I think it's cool, right? Because I think technology is cool. And if you want one, by all means, go ahead and buy one.
But they want to make it every gun is equipped
Right.
with this, which
Yeah,
it's impossible to do. You could have every new gun manufactured, but there's still hundreds of millions of guns out there already.
Right.
So it's much ado
well,
about
anyway,
nothing.
I mean, but the problem is, not much ado about nothing. He's spending money or trying to spend money to research how to research these things.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Frankly, I don't think he really cares. Especially, I just don't think he does.
really,
Yeah.
really.
I think this is all political theater. I think he's just
Well,
doing
it is political
to
theater,
pretend like
but I think he's using political theater and crying, which is, I mean, that was political
That's theater.
I think he's using it to get closer to something that he actually does want.
Well, I don't know
which
because
is more power.
No, I don't know about that.
A-
He's worried about
absolutely.
this. His last year, he's worried about his legacy. He's already got
I
Obamacare.
don't know.
No, he is. He already has Obamacare. He's happy with that, and he's the first black president. Those are two things he has that he's very proud of. If he gets gun control, that would be great. I don't think he really cares. I think his legacy.
You know
is
what?
set.
I think he does.
No.
I think he does care.
I don't think he cares about that. No.
I don't think he cares about the children and about safety of people. I don't think he cares about that at all. That's not it. Right? It's a control thing. It's
I
not
don't
about the
think he cares.
guns. It's not about. It's not about the children.
Especially
it's not
executive
about safety.
orders that can be, rescinded by the next administration.
Do you see? Speaking of Obamacare,
But apparently, that's never happened.
Speaking of Obamacare, he was given a bill. I don't know if he's seen it yet, but he was given a bill that sort of repeals Obamacare and
Oh, yeah, I saw
defunds
that.
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
I bet it'll get vetoed.
Yeah, but do they have enough to override?
They
the
do
veto?
not.
Yeah.
Well, the Republicans don't. I mean, maybe they could Maybe they could get some Democrat. Maybe Trump could pay off some Democrats.
Yeah, that would be nice.
To vote for it. That'd be interesting. Do you think he would do that as president? If we elected Trump president, do you think he would pay people to agree with him and follow him?
No.
I mean, because
But I also know that he wouldn't repeal Obamacare because he is a supporter of social medicine.
I think he would repeal it.
No,
I bet he would.
No, he wouldn't.
I bet he would.
No, he wouldn't.
I bet
he might modify it a little bit, but he will.
Nah,
he would not. No, he's
If
already
he had the
said
bill
in
on
his
his desk, I bet he would sign
in
it.
his history he is a
In
pro
his history.
social.
Yeah, but what we're talking
Yeah.
20 years.
People don't change.
20,
their
30. Oh,
stripes.
come on, people. Look at you.
What about me?
Look at you.
I have not changed in 50 years.
Look, at OddShow.com, look at the history of our shows. Listen to some of the first shows that we did. Okay, and you can then
That wasn't
listen
me.
to one of our first shows.
That wasn't
It didn't
me.
sound like you because our audio was worse than it is now.
That wasn't
Listen
me.
to those shows and then listen to a recent show. Or if you're listening now, you don't have to listen to another one. I won't bore you with that. Listen to the difference. You can look at the consistency of one of the hosts who has not changed their stance on anything.
Yeah, you
and the
have.
other host you
You
can
have.
see going from public art. We need public education. We need to invest in our kids publicly, and the government does great things. To
Hey,
now where
you're
you are,
wasting time.
I'm not wasting time. I'm using up time because we don't have enough to talk about.
We have a lot of stuff to
We
talk
don't
about.
have that much. We have to take a break.
Look, we're going to talk about Oregon Park taken over by Patriots.
We are, and you know what you didn't mention at the beginning, which is the sign of a host who's changed his mind over the last couple of years.
What's that?
We have a guest.
Yeah, we have someone from the Michigan Militia. He's been on our show before, Michael Lackamore. He's, I think he's like their spokesperson or whatever for one of the largest Michigan militia groups. He's going to come in and talk a little bit about the Bundys and the Oregon Park and the Hammonds and their ranch and their terrorism convictions and all that. Also got a soundbite by Ron Paul from 1997 that was kind of ominous. And we've got all kinds of stuff. You hear about the Chicago police telling the airport police who are not armed to run and hide if there's any problems at the airport?
Yeah, at O'Hare. Right? Yeah.
300 aviation officers. They're law enforcement officers, but they don't give them guns.
It's an airport, Brian.
Why would you need a gun?
Guns are dangerous in the airport. Well, except the other police.
So their memo is run and hide.
So you wonder, are they there to stop skateboarders? I mean, really?
Probably
Why are they there?
Probably drunk flyers,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's presence. It's just a presence. You got to put a presence out there. The illusion, the safety theater.
Yeah, but the I guess.
That's what it is. But when the bullets start flying, run and hide, which,
Yeah.
I guess
It's
I
not
would
bad
too.
advice for anybody.
It's great advice. But the officers are humiliated by it because, they've been trained to rush to the sound of bullets
right.
and all that.
They think they're in France or something.
Right. And that's what it's like.
Yep.
Well, first they advise to evacuate the area. If you can't evacuate, then hide.
Evacuate, like get people to leave, or evacuate themselves.
Themselves from the area.
Yeah. And
Which
their
is good.
bowels and everything else. And then run.
That's not very nice. All right, let's do...
Well, wouldn't you?
let's do... okay.
Let's do what? You want to do a joke or something ridiculous?
No, I don't want to do a joke, but I
Okay.
have because this one's kind of important. On this day in 1789, what happened, Nate?
You were born?
Ooh, that hurt.
Oh, 1789.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said 16.
Yeah. My dad was born. And
Well,
America's first presidential election was held. I won't tell you who won. Voters cast ballots. Only white men who own property were allowed to vote, of course, which, is horrible, horrible. And Washington was sworn into office April 30th, 1789. That's all I have to say about that. Here's the trivia question, because we got to go to break, right?
that was a trivia question.
I mean,
Oh, that was
no,
this
that was
day in
that was
history.
this day in history.
Framed as a
First-
trivia question.
Hey, first American election.
Yeah.
It was held on this day in 1789.
That's good. That's
kinda
weird.
cool.
Everyone knows elections are in November, but okay.
They had them.
I guess I got that one wrong.
They like to have them in the spring, I guess, because it was easier to get around stuff. All right, which president? Now this is an easy one.
Yeah.
Which president once worked as a fashion model for Cosmopolitan and Look magazines?
Obama.
Fashion model.
Yeah.
So that's our trivia
All right.
question.
We'll be right back.
At odds.
Hey mom, tired of getting paid peanuts working for someone else? Tired of that job interfering with trying to be a good mom? How'd you like to be in total control of your time and make as much money as you want to? Go to Income51.com for free information on hundreds of work-from-home business opportunities from the Mom's Business Network.
I'm a single mom, and when I found this opportunity, I was able to make $1,200 part-time my first month, fire my boss, and now work from home full-time around my kids.
What mom wouldn't want to fire their boss, still make great money, and have the freedom to live the life she wants?
I was working as a corporate executive. I never had time with my family. Then I got downsized. I decided I was never going to work for anyone again. What I like about this is I get to be my own boss, work at home around my family, and provide a great lifestyle.
Go to Income51.com for free information today. That's Income51.com. Start earning great money as soon as next week. That's Income51.com. Income51.com.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-679-0476. That's 1-800-679-0476. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-679-0476. That's 1-800-679-0476.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 877-595-5381. That's 877-595-5381. Again, 877-595-5381. Call now.
From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys.
Now? Is this on? The mic's on. It's hot, Mike? All right, now. All right, here we go. All right. When I have nothing to do, and I mean absolutely nothing to do, I'll listen to the At Odd Show with Nate and Brian. There, how was that? Because that's all I'm going to do. No, I'm not going to say they're funny. They're not funny. I'm not going to say they're smart. They're definitely not smart. I'm done. That's all I'm going to do. Okay. Now, can I have my cookie?
And welcome back to the At Odd Show. I'm Nate. That's Brian over there.
We eventually gave him his cookie.
Yeah, we did give him his cookie.
Had to get him the hell out of the studio.
Yikes.
I thought he was going to be better. He came highly recommended.
Yeah.
As a spokesperson.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Straight out of the Clinton camp. I'm not sure why he didn't like us. It's weird.
Trivia question.
He would have liked you a couple years ago.
Shut up. I don't know who you're talking about. All right. Which president once worked as a fashion model for Cosmopolitan and Look magazine?
One of our top 100 favorite listeners guessed Reagan.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
It's wrong, but that's a good guess.
Reagan is a president.
And he was in the acting business, and he may have modeled. I don't know. Just not for Cosmopolitan.
Publicly. I know. He modeled privately for sure.
So what's her face like that?
Yeah. Nancy?
Nancy had that. They had a pole in their bedroom.
Right.
I don't know.
Who was it?
Well, the good-looking president, Gerald Ford.
Wow. Yeah.
I think he was an underwear model.
Yeah. He always carried a football.
In his underwear.
That was football?
That was football.
All right, moving on anyway.
Well, we do have our guest on the phone. It's Michael Lackamar. He's a squad leader or something like that. I don't know.
Come on, team leader.
Team leader.
Communications officer.
Yep. For the Southeast Michigan Volunteer Militia. And we've got him on the phone. We're going to talk a little bit about the takeover of the federal building out in the middle of who knows where.
Yeah.
Talk about the Hammonds and the Bundys and all of that stuff and kind of get the perspective from the Michigan Militia, what's going on out there, what they feel about it, and so on. So welcome to the show, Michael.
I thought the answer to your trivia question was Charlie Sheen. I was way off base.
Yeah, I don't think Charlie was ever the president of the United States.
I don't know.
In his mind, he would have.
He's winning.
Been. I don't know that Charlie did much modeling. I don't.
Tiger Blood and other things.
How you doing tonight?
Good. We're doing good. We're glad you're with
Thanks
us.
for joining us.
You've been on before, and I thought it would be good to have you on again, considering what's going on out there. My feelings are mixed. I don't know a lot about what's going on, and I think Nate feels the same way about it. Is this overkill, overreach?
Yeah.
Is this the time to do it? Was it the best spot, the best timing, all that kind of stuff? So we'll just let you go and give your perspective. You can let us know if it's your personal or if you're representing the Michigan Militia. So go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I always represent myself first and foremost,
all right.
And then the rest of the group will probably call me and send me nasty text messages later on. But having made that disclaimer right up front, looking at the situation the way it sits right now, the first and most major screw-up I see is how do you sentence a man, send him to jail, release him, and then after the fact say, oh, by the way, we made a mistake, you need to go back again.
Well, that's the federal prosecutor who resigned last May, who's had an affair and was raised in a commune and no experience other than what child welfare, was brought into the scene and stirred up that pot and asked for the standard sentencing. And I don't know what's behind that, but it's funny that she sort of disappeared for health reasons.
Well, yeah, but once you've served the sentence you were given, then you're done. You have
you would think that
satisfied your obligation.
Yeah, and there's a double jeopardy.
And, right, and if you find out after the fact that the government, the prosecutor, anybody on that end screwed up, and it's in your favor, hey, it's a gimme.
Right.
You know? If you screwed up, they wouldn't offer you the same consideration.
Right.
And so having said that, they're in a bad situation to begin with.
Who is now? The government, the federal government, or the Patriots?
The Hammond family.
Okay.
Being told that they have to report back again. And they have every right in the world to be cheesed off over that. And the people who have showed up to support them and protest and everything by their side, I support those folks 150%. That is the way this country works. People making their voices heard and affecting change.
But didn't the Hammond family, at least through their lawyer, say that they didn't want this?
Well, I don't think that matters.
Yeah,
they don't need their approval.
There was some coercion brought about that resulted in that letter, and seeing the mess that was about to hit the fan, they were told by somebody in the prosecutor's office or reasonably close to the prosecutor's office that you need to put out this press statement and tell these people to stay away, otherwise we are going to make your life difficult.
Yeah.
So they went to their attorney, which is what they're supposed to do. And when you get some of the same people that we've had issues with in the past that decide to hitch their wagon to this cause and use it as a publicity vehicle for themselves, that's when things get a little out of line.
Who's that?
Now, we've heard reports about this massive occupation of a federal building, and CNN is calling this the next Waco. And
God, I hope not.
Every word I've gotten from that area, and we do have sources. I mean, we are the largest, most well-known militia in the nation. We've made a few friends over the years. This occupation amounts to about a dozen people hanging out in the Forestry Service's equivalent of a roadside rest area.
Yeah. So do you support that?
No, that is the publicity seeking that I spoke of. That is that's just making a nuisance of yourself. It is nowhere near the scene of what's going on. It'd be like me saying that I'm ticked off because my neighbors are throwing trash over my fence, so I'm going to go occupy the 7-Eleven down on the corner.
Okay. So
I don't think that's a good analogy.
I figure this occupation will last until the Skittles run out of the vending machines.
So you're saying this building is unrelated to the issues that the Hammond family's dealing with?
Other than the fact that it belongs to the federal government,
yeah,
it's completely unrelated.
No, it's not true, is it? I thought it was the recreation area that pertains to where their property is located adjacent to. It's the same park, the same public property where the fire was started and all that. I thought it was that same.
It may, but that's a huge.
Well, I know that, but that is the headquarters for that national park.
I don't know. Okay, my information might be a little off base, but from what I heard, it is not a headquarters. It's a couple of restrooms and an information stand.
Well, I've Google Earthed it. There's a lot of buildings there, and it's like maintenance area, and I suspect that during the summer there's rangers there and all that. And yes, it is a small in comparison to a lot of other places, but I think it's the one for that area, that reserve or whatever you want to call that, whatever federal land is where the bird watchers go to use the land and all that stuff. So it's not like this happened in Massachusetts and they're occupying it in Oregon. This property has some ties to the Hammonds.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's very isolated, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's fresh water available if they want to have a long stay. I don't know about food and all that, but I think...
Well, if they've done any sort of training like we do, they'll be able to forage, and they'll be fine for a while.
And they're getting... Apparently they're getting support, and people are giving them food and
now,
gift
if you're
cards.
going to do that, and if that's going to be your stand... I think I would want more coverage of what I'm doing, because you've got two ways to go about this thing. You can go in, you can do it, you can be hauled off to jail and never heard from again, or you can make yourself so big and so loud that everybody realizes when you're gone. And they're not doing a whole lot to warm themselves up to the media that's going to be covering this.
Yeah, but did you think the media would give them any kind of break, because they're already referred to as terrorists, and
I think
we should shoot them down?
I think that's exactly the
they're
problem.
Nutcases.
That's exactly the problem with that sort of stunt, right? Is that you're not going to get the media because it's not what they want to cover, and that's it's not the
or they're not going
angle
to cover
they
it
take
in your favor,
right.
anyways.
Right.
With the exception of programs like yours,
well, yeah.
we don't get a fair shake in the media neither.
Sure.
But yet, I've been on television on 5 different continents doing exactly what I do now, speaking my mind, getting the message out. And whether the person holding the camera or the microphone agrees or disagrees with me, I have to tell them what I believe. Otherwise, they're going to assign their own motives to me.
Yeah, but they can do that in editing and all kinds of ways. It's always a gamble. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how you win the hearts of the media when they have an agenda to to criminalize you and to make you sound like a white gun nut terrorist.
Demonize you.
Okay.
Demonize
well,
you.
Look at the original occupation and fiasco at the Bundy Ranch. Now, the media was definitely giving the group at that time the same sort of coverage. They are now. These people are terrorists. These people are dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
But by being on the television, there's enough people that know what the media do that will watch that and say, okay, if this is what CNN is saying, then I want to look into it and find out what's really going on.
Yeah, so what's the difference between what happened at the Bundy Ranch and what's happening now in this building?
Geography is one.
Obviously, geography. Number two, the Bundys at that time wanted the help and the assistance of the armed folks that were there. And those folks themselves put themselves in physical harm's way between the family and the Bureau of Land Management.
So you think it was just a showing that they were serious? I mean, that
it was a real show of force rather than a symbolic show of force.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and that'll get more attention when people understand that you're doing something that actually means something, that actually takes some guts to do it, and so you must be serious. You must really be, be passionate.
Now, well, the difference too now, remember, is that the feds were occupying and confronting the Bundys on their own ranch and killing their cattle on their ranch.
Sure.
As opposed to taking over a federal building, which is frowned upon by a large segment of society. But I think part of it is the geography. What reporter is going to go out in the middle of nowhere? If you look at this place, it is really out in the middle of nowhere, and nobody uses it this time of year. So the feds are in no hurry to kick you out until spring.
As soon as the word gets out that they're occupied, I guarantee every reporter on the face of the earth, if they had the opportunity to go in there and talk to these people, they would want to do it.
Well, I think that'll happen.
That's what reporters do. That's in their blood.
I think they'll do that when they're actually confronted by armed federal agents. Then they'll
Now, here's another bit of info we're getting that's quite interesting. After the Bundy Ranch, obviously, Land Management got a huge black eye in that. They basically tucked tails and walked away.
Right.
Which is the right decision, mind you. But it does not justify the amount of time and effort and manpower they put into it.
You're saying they may be cautious now, a little more cautious about rushing in.
No. Right now, I think that they want to go in there and take care of things the best way they can. However, now you have the FBI that has stepped in, and they are physically holding the leash of Land Management.
Oh.
And
so
you've seen the federal officials basically staying well clear of everything that's going on. They are not in camera shot. They are not giving any sort of show of force.
A low profile.
Right, exactly.
Well, some of the same agencies that were involved in Waco are involved in this instance, which makes sense because it's similar from the Fed's point of view.
Well, that was a private property too.
Name, the administration, as much as I dislike the current administration, you do not have the same players in place that you did in Waco.
Janet Reno, for one.
Right.
All right.
Okay,
go ahead.
I don't think this administration has the spine for that sort of event.
Okay. Well, maybe that's good. The other thing is...
I think absolutely it's good.
Well, here's the other thought I had was that this is in the wintertime. Nobody goes there in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I think as the summer season starts to approach in the spring and they're still there and this hasn't been resolved, the governments are going to say, hey, we want our buildings back, and they're going to be forced to do something.
Do you think they'll still be there?
I don't know.
Quite honestly, I would be surprised if it lasted that long.
Yeah.
I would be amazed if it lasted beyond the end of this month. I might be proven totally wrong on that.
But why?
The people... Okay.
Will they be shot and killed?
With the name first and foremost.
Or will they give up?
Mr. Ritzheimer. We've talked about him before.
Yep.
The one that was screaming and cussing and swearing the YouTube video.
Coming to get stabbed now.
Time around.
Yeah, okay, we know him.
I don't think he has the attention span for this sort of thing.
So he's one of the main players there doing this?
He says he is.
Okay.
He's putting out the videos that says he is.
Is he, though, from your intel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting word from people out of Texas.
So
I'm
he's
getting word from people out of Arizona that have basically said he's no longer part of our group, and anyone from our group that accompanies him up there is over and done with.
Is he physically on site?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay.
I haven't got any actual confirmation on that, but that's
okay.
I'm getting it from very good sources.
Okay, good. So do you think then what you're saying, because I wanted to see if maybe what I wanted you to clarify was it will end because they'll just sort of get bored and go home, or it will end because the feds go in there and burn the buildings down and kill everybody?
No, I think it will end because the feds will make some sort of token compromise, and they'll say, hey, we won, and they'll hold their heads high and walk away.
What would that compromise be? Rescinding the prison sentence?
Well, if I were in a place of that decision, that would be the first thing I would look at.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, we don't, but by the same token, they can very realistically say that this was a mess-up in the judicial system. These folks have served their time, and the thought of imprisoning them again is wrong.
And let
Now,
justice be served.
At all talked with the people in the occupied building. They admitted what all of us believe is already an honest mistake in the situation. And what have they really given in at that point? At that point, they look like, okay, this is what government's supposed to do, and watch out for the people, and they've done that.
Right.
Now, if they go in and they start saying, okay, well, we're going to give you food to make you guys comfortable, we're going to give you safe passage out of here. If they start doing stuff like that, then that's when you get into negotiation. I'm completely against that.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. But if they do rescind the sentence, then I would say the people that occupied the building won, right? And accomplished what they're trying to do.
They do come out on the winning side.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it was their efforts that brought about the change.
Sure.
But look, regardless whether I agree with your method or not, when the government oversteps its mandate, then anybody who stands up to that government has my respect.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair, and I'm pretty much with you on that.
All right, we got less than 2 minutes, so you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, give us some information about the Southeast Volunteer Militia and
where they can join you.
Where we can find more information, join you, that sort of thing.
Best way to find anything on us is www.michiganmilitia.com. It's a real easy name to remember. If you search Southeast Michigan Volunteer Militia on Facebook, you will find us. We meet every month. We train every month. February is our 3-day winter survival training in northern Michigan.
Woo!
So what these folks are doing in their federal building, we'll be outdoors in tents doing the exact same thing. Yeah. God bless you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us. It was good talk. It's always nice to talk to you. And we're always
anytime, gentlemen. Just let me know.
Always willing to have the scary terrorist militia people like you on the show to give you a little voice. What little voice we can provide.
And this interview is much more enjoyable than the Detroit Public Radio one I did yesterday.
I bet.
I bet. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Michael. Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Well, that's nice. He's always a pleasure to have on. I hope nobody gets hurt. That's what I hope.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope things can get resolved to the, benefit of both. It's the win-win type of thing when you negotiate.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But he had a point there. The feds could come out and say, "Hey, this was a miscarriage of justice. He served his time. We're gonna, pardon him or not pardon him, but excuse his sentence and all that stuff.
Yeah."
And
let him off on time served or something weird like that, right?
Do it. So,
all right. Well, we'll see. We are running out of time, though. So, adoddshow.com, facebook.com/adoddshow, myparentsopencarry.com. You have any other random websites that you want to? Oh, no, not that one.
Oh,
not that
one. I have a good one, but
this is
family show.
The FCC. See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.